Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. I am your host, Spencer, and please go write a review on this podcast, just whatever you got to say. Please join the Patreon for $1 a month. Please buy some merchandise. Please join my social media at dictionarypod. Please send me an email, dictionarypod@gmail.com. Please call my Google Voice and leave me a voicemail, 917-727-5757. I think that was all. Plenty of good things. And let's talk about some words. We are starting off with some more, I think they would probably be tongue words. Because I think we saw something. Well, anyway, we got to just talk about it. Okay, so the first word in this episode is glott or glotto. Glott. It's a prefix. It means, language. Not so much tongue, but language. We have an example, which is a word coming up in this episode. Glottochronology. Ooh, that makes me think of things. Makes me think of language in time, how language has evolved over time, that sort of thing. That sounds fascinating. All right, let's make a sound effect. We're gonna go. Whoa. Now we have glottal. Glott with an A-L. Adjective from circa 1846. This is of, relating to, or produced in, or by the glottis. And that is definitely coming up real soon. The glottis. We have an example. Glottal constriction. Glottal constriction. I assume this has something to do with the mouth. Is this a glottal constriction? Is this a glottal constriction? Hell? Yep, sure, why not? We'll learn about that pretty soon. Oh, hey, by the way, glottal stop is next. Glottal stop in the name of love. Noun from 1888. The interruption of the breath stream during speech by closure of the glottis. We got another thing talking about the glottis. Something related to the glottis. Something happening when the glottis goes, but where's the glottis? What's the glottis? Oh, I don't know. Let's find out right now. It's the word glottis. Glott with an I-S. Noun from 1578. The plurals would be glottises or glottides. Glottides, that's a different way to pluralize something. So, this is the elongated space between the vocal cords. Also, the structures that surround this space. Those are also called the glottis. It says compare to epiglottis, which would have been back here in the E's. That was so long ago. And let's see if we can find that quickly. It should be right around here. Epiglottis would be right over in this region. A thin plate of flexible cartilage in front of the glottis that folds back over and protects the glottis during swallowing. Ah, yes. When you swallow, there's some stuff happening in that throat region there. I think I need to see a picture of the glottis, and so we can see a little bit more. Now, I don't know if I'm sure I do have control over this, but I don't know. Okay, so there's the epiglottis, which is way up higher, well into the throat, but the highest point of this whole area. Oh, you got to be real careful about how this whole system works. Then okay, so the epiglottis sort of, when you swallow, it moves into place, so when you swallow, nothing goes down towards the whole larynx section where your vocal cords are. And then Then okay, so it's interesting. It's this whole system is all connected. When you swallow, there's a tube, and the back part of the tube towards the back of the neck is that's where your swallowing part is. That's the part that goes into your esophagus. Oh no, is it? Yes, that's the esophagus part. But right in front of that, closer to the front of the mouth, that tube diverts to the larynx, to the vocal cord area, and that part's more up in the front. So the epiglottis comes to stop things from going down the vocal cords, and then there's the supraglottis, which is the top part of the larynx, really, and then the vocal cords are right below that, and then the glottis. It's hard to see what's different here. Is this a bigger picture? I guess the glottis is the vocal cords. That's what this is saying. Now, what does the book say that we were just reading? The elongated space between the vocal cords and the structures that surround this space. And so I guess the vocal cords are the vocal cords, and then the glottis is in between them, but that's just empty space. I don't know. It's all part of the same thing. And then below that is the subglottis, which is below the glottis, and the supraglottis is above the glottis, and then the epiglottis is even higher above that, and that's your glottis, everybody. Okay, fascinating. Well, this is from the Greek glotta, which means tongue, and there's more at the word gloss, which we learned about in the previous episode, and so it's all connected. You go, and the glottis is working overtime. Okay, that was a lot of that. Now let's go to glottochronology. Glottochronology. Noun from 1953. A linguistic method that uses the rate of vocabulary replacement to estimate the date of divergence for distinct but genetically related languages. That sounds fascinating. If I can find a link for glottochronology, I will put it in the show notes for you. It's a linguistic method that uses the rate of vocabulary replacement. How often are words being changed in a language or something to estimate the date of divergence for distinct but genetically related languages? So over time, people move, languages move, and then they, just like living things, evolve over time to adapt to their environment and their situation, their habitat. The languages evolve as well, and then people who study all of this would be glottochronologists, but that's not listed in here. But glottochronological, that's an adjective. What a fascinating job. Studying how words change to show the evolution, the family tree of languages. Woo! All right, no more glotto words. Woo! We have, what would this be? Gloucs, capital Gloucs. It's an abbreviation for, how would they say this word? Gloucestershire? Gloucestershire. It's Gloucestersshire, and I think the Brits tend to sort of shorten things, shrink things. So I would think maybe Gloucestershire, but you Brits can tell me for sure. It's not Gloucestershire, which is what it looks like. Now we have, let's see, you can say glute or glout. Glute or glout, Glout. Verb, intransitive verb, from the 14th century, and it happens to be archaic. The synonyms are frown and scowl. So Frowning and scowling when you are doing those actions, you are glouting. Oh man, it's a Monday morning and that just makes me want to glout. I'm so glouty right now in Middle English archaic times. There's more at the word gloat, Gloat, which would have been over here. Glance admiringly, observe or think about something, triumphant, the act of it. But yeah, that's interesting. That it feels different to me. That seems like the opposite. Interesting. Okay, so that was glout, and now we shall go to glove. This is the first form of the word glove. Glove, noun from before the 12th century. 1a. This is a covering for the hand, having separate sections for each of the fingers and the thumb, and often extending partway up the arm. Partway? How far? My gloves tend to just go, I guess, right past the wrist, right up into this watch region. But sometimes people wear gloves that go all the way up, maybe even all the way up to my sleeve, my short little sleeve here, up past the elbow, into the upper arm. Those are some fancy gloves. I don't think I've ever worn gloves like that. That's if you want to go to a fancy affair, you might wear some gloves that go up to your armpit. I've got armpit gloves. And yes, they are defined by having separate sections for each of the fingers. I just saw a video today of somebody who had all their 5 digits, and then they did like a little wave or something, and then it cut to a shot of people who had 3 fingers and 1 thumb, and then it cut to somebody who had, I think they really just had the two fingers and a thumb, and then it went down to 2, and it was really just kind of this with a thumb and a pinky. That's kind of what it looked like. And then it went down to 1, and I don't know, it was just 1 digit that came off of the wrist, somewhere, wrist and hand, and then it went down to just a nubbin, just basically a wrist that moved around a little bit. And it was they drew a little smiley face on it, and it was very cute. And so those people would need some customized gloves to fit their... What do you do? Are you a person who has more or less than 5 digits on your hand? What do you do when you want to wear gloves? Do you just wear mittens? Do you make your own? Maybe you could have a friend knit or sew gloves just made for you. Custom gloves. Or do you customize the gloves that are out there? Do you just wear regular gloves and then just have one or more fingers just flopping around? Sometimes if my fingers are really cold, I'll put my hand inside of the glove, and so there's no fingers inside of the finger holes, and then they're just flapping around, and I'm like, do people think I have no fingers? They're not looking. They don't care. I'd have to go up to their face and flap the fingers around for them to see. Let's move on now to 1B. 1B for glove. The synonym is the number 1 definition for the first form of the word gauntlet, which is really that thing that you put on your hand. Maybe it's in the knight's armor, the glove for the armor is called the gauntlet, which sounds much cooler. Really, I think that when in wintertime, when you're putting on your gloves, you should be like, I'm putting on my gauntlets. It's gauntlet season here in the winters. Now we have 2A1. 2A1. This is a padded leather covering for the hand used in baseball to catch a thrown or batted ball. Specifically, one having individual thumb and finger sections, usually connected with a lacing or webbing. And it says compared to mitt, M-I-T-T. Now, what's the difference between a glove and a mitt? Difference? I'm just going to type this into the thing. Difference between glove and mitt? There's a mitten, but not mitt. I want I want mitt. Like let's look up. Let's just add baseball. Yes, let's add baseball to that. Google, you know what I'm thinking. You know me better than that, better than I know myself. Baseball gloves. That's what we're talking about. They're used by most players, infield and outfield, and feature individual finger stalls for dexterity. Mitts, used exclusively by catchers and first basemen, lack individual finger slots, offering a larger, more padded, and unified pocket for securing balls. I guess I never really realized that or knew that. The catcher's mitt definitely makes sense. Huh. Well, now I'm fascinated to know about the word mitt and mitten because, just spoiler ahead for the M's, they don't have the individual slots for the fingers. They're just one big space, which is really better for warmth. But yes, there's a different infield glove than an outfield glove, and there's a first base mitt and a catcher's mitt. They're like, you don't need to separate it by fingers. You need to catch the ball. You need a big, wide area to catch the ball because you're more likely gonna get that ball, and you really, really need to catch it, especially if you're the catcher or the first base person. Interesting. All right. Now, fascinating. Should we post a picture of a baseball glove? Sure, why not? We'll get to that eventually. Throwing baseballs into gloves. Throwing baseballs into mitts. Who's gonna catch the ball better? It's gonna be the mitt haver. Now we have 2A2. This is fielding ability. Oh, so we're not talking about a physical glove that you're wearing. It's your ability when you are fielding, I guess in the baseball. There's an example. It's a quote. He's got a good glove at 3 positions and can pinch hit. That's a quote from Casey Stengel. Casey was talking about somebody who could catch real good, play 3 positions in the baseball field real good, and they could also hit the ball very good with their bat. He's got a good glove at 3 positions. He's got good fielding ability. Because that's what they do. They really all they do is they use their gloves. They don't use any other part of their body. They just hold the glove out and then the ball comes to them. All right, now moving on to 2B. The synonym is boxing glove. But does the boxing glove have individual fingers for finger spaces for your fingers? I type in boxing glove and we get glove, but there's also boxing mitt. I don't know. Have I heard of a boxing mitt? Now, a boxing glove is just, it looks like a big fat mitten. But what is a boxing mitt? And we're losing the whole thing about individual spaces for your fingers. A boxing mitt looks like this is, it's a much smaller thing. Boxing mitts, also known as focus mitts or punch mitts, are specialized padded targets worn by trainers or partners to help fighters improve accuracy, speed, and combinations. But the glove, I think we need to call them boxing mittens because they don't have, I don't think, do they have individual fingers? Well, now I have to look that up. Oh boy. Do boxing gloves have individual spaces for thingies? I think I put them on before, like many, many years ago. No, standard boxing gloves do not have individual spaces for each finger. They function like mittens, where all 4 fingers are contained together in one main compartment, allowing them to squeeze together on impact for protection. The thumb is usually separated but attached to the main body to prevent injury. All right, so yep, now we got to call them boxing mittens. I have declared that. Moving on to 3A. Oh, the synonym is the number 3 definition for the first form of the word gauntlet. So it's another thing. Maybe this one is the knight's armor. Maybe the other one was, I don't know, but we got multiples. And then 3B, This one would be gloves, plural. It is the restraints of civility. We have an example. The gloves came off for the interview. The gloves came off. So when the gloves were on, I think it's sort of the metaphorical boxing gloves. When those gloves came off, no, when they were on, everybody was civil. Everybody was like, I will punch you, metaphorically speaking, in this discussion, in this argument, with padded gloves, which can hurt if I hit real hard, but they're not too bad. But then when we remove the gloves, we remove civility. We're not civil anymore. Those are the restraints holding our civility. I don't something. We're like, okay, now we're really getting into it. The gloves are coming off. And now I'm going to punch with my knuckles, metaphorically speaking, in this discussion. You don't want to experience the receiving end of my argument persuasion skills when the gloves come off. I'm ready for knuckle fighting. I would rather not do that. Okay? Thanks. Let's leave the gloves on. Oh, that was a lot for glove. This is from the Old Norse gloffi, which means glove. So glove is glove. What's my sound? Now we have the second form of glove. It's a verb, a transitive verb from the 15th century. Why did I move this book all the way over there? Number 1A. To cover with or as if with a glove. Glove your fingers when you're boxing. Glove your fingers when you're fielding. Glove your fingers when you're cold. I'm going to gauntlet when I'm cold. 1B. To furnish with gloves. Oh, maybe you're gloving a whole baseball team, giving them gloves. Here, gloves for everybody. I'm gloving you. I glove you so much. Number 2, to catch in one's gloved hand. And the example of where this is happening is baseball. Glove the ball. That's what you're going to do. Oh, I just saw the sweetest little thing yesterday. I was driving to the store, and there was, I assume, a dad and his daughter on the front lawn, and they were having a catch. Actually, no, it wasn't a catch. It was he was hitting the ball with the baseball bat, and she was tossing it to him, and I think that she did have a mitt or a glove of some kind, and he was very smart, and he had a mask on her face. It wasn't a Halloween mask. It wasn't the Jim Carrey mask. It was basically a catcher's mask to protect her face, and I sure wish I had one of those when I was a child, because I got hit in the eye with a baseball when I was young, and I guess I got a little bit of a black eye. But yes, smart dad, give your child a mask and a mitt, and probably lots of other paddings are not too bad either. She was fairly small. She was pretty small, but she was doing a good job. She what were we talking about that made me think of that? She gloved the ball when it came to him. I saw him hit the ball gently, and it bounced, and she gloved it off the ground. And then I drove past them later, and I think I saw they were doing a little bit more of that. All right, so that's the verb glove, and now we're gonna go on to whoo, glove box. 2 words, noun from 1946. Number 1, the synonym is glove compartment. Glove box is a little bit easier to say. Number 2, a sealed, protectively lined compartment. A sealed, protectively lined compartment having holes to which are attached gloves for use in handling especially dangerous materials inside the compartment. Took me a minute to fully understand what we were talking about, but now I got it real quick. There's a glass wall. There's 2 holes. There's gloves. There's gloves attached to the holes. And these gloves, they probably actually are the kinds that go way up your arm. They're probably big rubber gloves, and then you stick your hands in them, So you can deal with something that's maybe not very safe. And what were the words that it used? Dangerous materials inside the compartment. So the gloves go inside the compartment, and you can still work with them, and then you're safe because they were in a compartment. I believe they might be giants. I believe their album, Long Tall Weekend, shows something about these gloves. Let's see. That's what it's called. And you've, of course, seen these in various places. And this album, by the way, originally was online only. One of the very first all digital things. I think they've released it physically in some form now. Now, what's interesting though about this cover is that, or this image specifically, is that it is the gloves. It is the gloves. Now there might be some different versions. I think there might be some other versions of this. Oh, that one, he's got a martini. Well, the main image that I'm seeing is that it's gloves, but there's no spaces for fingers. What he's doing here, there's a face in a window, and so we are on the inside of the compartment. We are with the dangerous materials. But instead of space for fingers, it's like two robotic clamps. And I guess I never really looked terribly closely at this. And what he's doing is he's holding a roll of tape. One of the robotic clamps is holding the roll, and the other one is ripping it off. Is it tape or is it tickets? People, and sometimes it's blue and sometimes it's yellow. They had fun changing the color. It looks like yes, I think it's tickets. What does this say? Yep, it just says admit one. So, what was the thought process behind this image? Oh, I'm sure there's some very interesting stuff and ideas and things. So the tickets to admit into maybe a concert, or a raffle, or a carnival, or a something, they're very dangerous. There's something about that being all dangerous, and so you got it. You can only get your tickets in this specialized compartment, or maybe the guy who's inside, who's behind, he has a very creepy lighting on his face. Sometimes he's sort of yellow or orange, and sometimes he's red, and maybe he is like a bubble boy situation. So he's the one who's got to be protected from the outside world. And he's like, but I still really want to give people their tickets. I don't know why it couldn't be gloves. What's the choice to have these robotic clamps? Oh, I have so many questions, John and John. Maybe I'll ask you this tonight when I go see you in concert tonight, in Chicago, May 1st. But I don't think I'll get a chance to say hello. That would be nice. But if I do, I'm going to ask you about this because I'm talking about it right now. Oh boy, that was a lot. That's a glove box. We tangent all the time here. Moving on to glove compartment. Noun from 1939. So glove compartment came out 7 years before glove box when we're talking about this specific concept. And I think people were just like, I don't want to say compartment. I want to say box. It's a glove box. No, a glove compartment is a small storage cabinet in the dashboard of an automobile. You probably knew that. I heard of some story. I think it was maybe one of my grandma's friends, who I don't think English was her first language, and or maybe it was somebody else, and they said glove department. And so sometimes when I'm talking about the glove compartment, I like to say glove department, because I just like that. I like using words wrong sometimes, and I think you should too. Glove box, glove compartment, glove department, 7th floor. Woo! Glove leather. 2 words, noun from 1721. It is a soft, lightweight leather. I guess it's a very specific type of leather that you can only use for gloves. I don't know if this would be the gloves for the baseball mitts because that's usually pretty heavy and thick. But this is you want it to be maybe kind of fancy, maybe pretty movable. When you're in winter times and you want to wear something to warm you up, but you still want to be able to use your fingers. Can you imagine if we were all just wearing baseball gloves in the wintertime? I got a glove up. I can't do anything. Draw me a picture of that, please. I don't know. There's some sort of comic there of, I put on the wrong gloves today. It's wintertime. Ah, crap. I'm warm, and I can also catch balls. So, I mean, really, it's a win. Let's move on to glover. Noun from the 14th century. It's one that makes or sells gloves. And this is a last name. I know somebody with the last name Glover, and so their old relative must have been making and selling gloves, which was probably a very good job in some parts of the world at certain times for certain groups of people. They needed gloves for every day of the week. This event, that event, morning, noon, and night. Where's my noon gloves? I need them for my tea. Ooh. Now we have the word glow. Glow. First form. It's a verb from before the 12th century. This one's only intransitive. Number 1A. To shine with, or as if with, an intense heat. There's an example. Embers glowing in the darkness. Oh, it's so poetic and beautiful. Maybe at nighttime. It's a campfire. The embers are glowing. That's all the light you've got. Other than the stars, look up at the stars, and then look down at the glows. They're both glowing. Number 1B1. To have a rich, warm, typically ruddy color. So it's really a rich, warm, ruddy color, and the ruddy it's typical. So this is, we have an example. Cheeks glowing with health. So if you're healthy, your cheeks are glowing, or if you've put makeup on, or if you're embarrassed, blushing, then I think you would be glowing. Are my cheeks glowing? Am I healthy? Maybe if I pinch them, then they will glow even more because my body is like, I'm going to send blood here because you're attacking me. What happens? Will my cheek go red? I think it's getting a little pink. Let's keep an eye on that. Okay, then we have 1B2. The synonyms are flush and blush. Yeah, that's very similar to what we were just talking about. Rich, warm, ruddy color. As in, the children glowed with excitement. When you said, we're going on a trip, we're going to meet your hero, we're going to Disney World, we're going to get food, we're going to the mall, all of those things could make a children glow with excitement. Number 2A. To experience a sensation of or as if of heat. Ooh. You're experiencing a situation of heat, a sensation of heat. Ooh, well, we have an example. This may not be literal heat. Ow, hot. The example is glowing with rage. Yeah, sometimes when you get real angry, you just get warm and hot. And then maybe your face will literally get red and you are glowing with rage, maybe with that typical ruddy color. This image of this guy from the Long Tall Weekend album with his gloves. He's got a red face, and so he is definitely glowing. Maybe there's a fire below him. Maybe there's glowing embers below him. Maybe he's very angry. He doesn't look angry. He looks a little creepy, but he's definitely glowing with something. Number 2B, to show exuberance or elation. As in, glow with pride. And, I think the last couple, the kids glowing with excitement, the person glowing with rage, those are, I think, of a semi-physical, literal thing. you can literally physically change or feel a change inside of you when the excitement and the rage happens. But this one, exuberance, elation, glowing with pride, this one I think is a little bit less of an actual physical thing that's happening. There could be some of that, but it's more like, oh, my heart is so full with pride. I'm so happy. I'm just my soul is aglow, a glowing soul. Okay, glowingly. That is an adverb. The etymology says, oh, it's come back again. This is from the Old English glawan, akin to the Old English giolu, which means yellow. And there's more at the word yellow. Well, glow, yellow, there's a similarity there. They both have the same last three letters. Oh, my light went out. But we've seen yellow come up with so many words recently that what's the deal with yellow? The sun glowing yellow, that's a thing. So I don't know what else. You tell me. All right, now let's move on to who, the second form of glow, noun from 1600. Number 1, brightness or warmth of color, but especially the synonym redness. 2a, warmth of feeling or emotion is a glow. So what is this noun? Like, ooh, I have a glow because I have some emotions going on. I have pride. I have excitement. I have rage. Anything really can cause you to have an emotion to cause some glow inside of you. 2b, a sensation of warmth, as in, the drug produces a sustained glow. What sort of drug is producing a sustained glow that's maybe specifically warm? 3a, the state of glowing with heat and light. The state of glowing with heat and light. Well, that could be our embers, could be other things. Many things have heat and light. 3b, light such as emitted by a solid body heated to luminosity. Oh boy, they had some fun writing this one. Light such as emitted by a solid body heated to luminosity. So the solid body was heated to luminosity. It was heated so much, like these embers, these coals, they were heated so much that they became luminous. They started to create light, to glow, and the light that comes off of that is the glow. The synonym is incandescence. That's a fun word. Incandescence. And that's something about glow, something with light coming off a thing because it's been heated up. All right, let's do one more. Ooh, whoa, look at the glow. It's glow discharge. 2 words. Noun from 1844. A luminous electrical discharge without sparks through a gas. So, boy, I want to look up an example of this, I think. Glow discharge. And so it's a light that's happening through a gas, but there are no sparks. It's not related to sparks. That's me, S. Parks. And when you do something to the gas, maybe you put something in it, through it. I don't know. And then the gas might be like, hey, it's time to glow. Here's a glow. Here's a light. And no sparks, though. You don't get any sparks. You just get light. It's a glow discharge. All right. Oh, and I forgot to mention, there's another definition for glow, which is not in here, which is, of course, not what most people are thinking of. Oh, I'm thinking of the TV show Glow, which is based on the real-life Glow, which is Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. And I am sad that they canceled that show. They were going to have one more season, and then they canceled it before they got to that. Maybe someday it'll come around. Maybe they'll do a later season. But that was a very fun show. Glow. All right, now let's pick a word of the episode. Today we had glott, glottal, glottal stop, glottis, glottochronology, glaux, glout, glove, glove, glove box, glove compartment, glove leather, glover, glow, glow, glow discharge. Ooh, I don't know. Let's pick glottal stop. Oh, I actually did want to look up example of glottal stop. Like what are you a glottal stop is a speech sound produced by blocking airflow in the vocal tract rather than the tongue or lips, replacing T sounds. Common examples include saying uh-oh or button as button or water as water. So, yeah, I like the example uh-oh because I'm not using my mouth, I'm not using my tongue or my teeth or anything like that to stop the sound. I'm using the thing in my throat by my vocal cords to stop the sound. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. This says, let's see, you might have heard that when I said button or water, they sounded a little, maybe badly British. Cockney and UK accents. It's extremely common, particularly replacing the T in the middle or end of words with a glottal stop, a That reminds me of that scene in Waiting for Guffman where he's Corky at the end. He's talking about he's practicing, I think, a Cockney accent, and he basically says you just don't say the first letter, especially if it's an H. And instead of saying "How are you," he says "Ow are oo, ow are oo," and I guess those are kind of glottal stops. Okay, I guess I'm picking glottal stop as the word of the episode, and I have to sing a song about that. Glottal stops have a stop in my throat. Glottal stop, glottal stop. Uh-oh, that's a glottal stop. That was fine. All right, let me tell you about another movie. It was a fun one. It's a fun one. What did we watch? We watched Over Your Dead Body. What to say about this one? It's I guess it's a dramedy, action-y. It's about, I don't even want to say what it's about. I think you should go watch it. Is it Samara Weaving and Jason Segel and some other people? And they're very good. And it's just fun. It's just really fun and silly, but deals with some some serious stuff, like relationship stuff. Yeah. Timothy Oliphant. Was there anybody else that I recognized? Juliette Lewis. Come on. Juliette Lewis. Hell yeah. All right, that's enough. You go watch the Over Your Dead Body. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye.